Hi, Deanne. My name's Michelle, and thank you for joining me today to have a look at our work-based training pathway plan. Congratulations on your new role with TAFE New South Wales as an Education Admin Support Officer.
Thank you. Super excited and really keen to learn how to do what you need me to get done.
Beautiful. So, I sent you through an email and copied in Alex and Peter, who will go through a bit more detail, but just around the work-based learning pathway plan that I set out for you. So just wondering, you've had an opportunity to have a read through?
Yeah, I had a read through it. Some of it makes sense and some of it doesn't, but hoping that you'll be able to explain a little bit today.
Wonderful. So what I might do is we'll work through. I'll share my screen and we'll work through the document as well. Some of it is a little bit repetitive, which you probably might have picked up on. So we might skip over some key points there, but it is all in the document there. So this was the pathway plan that I put together for you. So and it just looks at your period of time, so the date over a 3-month period from January to March. We're going to look at upskilling in the TAFE New South Wales systems and processes for student enrolments, reporting, administration, customer inquiries, and some what we call it. I've got MS Teams there, so Microsoft Teams. So I had a little bit of feedback that you hadn't had a lot to do with the Microsoft Teams, so that's why I've incorporated that into into our plan.
That's good. We didn't use it. We used Skype a lot in my old job. Can I ask a question? But you just said like it's between January and March. Do I have to know all of this stuff in January and then be like, am I going to be assessed?
No, so we'll go through that in our in the plan here, or the pathway plan. So it's over a 3-month period. So we're looking at so if we look at the objectives that we had set out for you, that we talked about, is providing the skills and knowledge to in your role as in the NSEMS teams as an education support officer. So the main focus of the roles that the team want you to upskill in is first point of contact for student inquiries. So knowing the NSEMS team, what they do, course information, so a lot of that background information. Managing student enrolments with TAFE New South Wales, the student enrolment portal. Complete some admin duties, so student enrolments, missing outcomes, student withdrawals, customer refunds, manage and review the functions in Microsoft Teams, and report back on a weekly basis to the team leader. So I do understand, being new to TAFE New South Wales, some of these words and reports and terminology may be new, but rest assured we'll cover over all those areas once we work through our plan over the next 3 months.
Cool.
So some of the methods that we'll use when we're, I'll just, go through the stakeholders here. So Alex McFadden, she is your team leader and for the NSEMS, the National Centre for Emergency Management Studies. Peter Riley is the full-time teacher with NSEMS, so he'll be one of your contacts, maybe a mentor as well. I'll be your trainer, and of course yourself as the learner in
So just I got told that my line supervisor is actually Chris Outen. How come, like, will he be across this?
So Chris will be your line supervisor, but you'll report to the team here for the day-to-day duties in your role as an education admin support. But Chris has overall, like if you need to have some leave or the personnel kind of requirements, HR requirements, Chris is your overall contact. So, but for the basis of this work-based plan, it will be Alex.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And we're going to deliver the training at the campus there, so at TAFE New South Wales Wollongong campus. So the room is Q, which is Q block, level 2, and the dot 30 is room 30. So I think your office is located on in QBOC, level 1, room 10. So it'll be a room up, the level upstairs from you.
Okay.
So some of the things that we'll have is the facilities, and equipment, so computers and things like that to assist you with your training. So you'll have training in the learning materials, some workbooks perhaps, some learner guides to help you work through some of the systems and processes as well. And of course, confidentiality as we work through your pathway plan. So what else have we got there? So that was just a bit that we put together earlier. We'll work through there.
Have I got to bring any resources?
No, just yourself.
Okay.
So maybe just a notepad and a pen if you want to. Sometimes it's good to take your own notes and put it in your own words. Okay. You know, you might get some learner or some handout pages or so forth, but you know, doing a system or a process sometimes in your learning can help you put it in your own lingo as such. So we'll just look at the work dates that we scheduled. So so the sessions will be fortnightly, so they'll be starting on the 5th of January.
Mm-hmm.
So and each session, so there'll be fortnightly sessions through till the end of March. So the first session will be around your theory component, and it'll cover off on different, in those set of objectives that we looked at just before. So around your there. So just looking at those objectives, so your enrolment, so looking at the different systems and processes and websites, the intranet, resources that you need to complete those tasks. And then your second session will be like on the 19th of January, it will be another 2.5 hours, and it'll be around practical. So it'll be you getting there and like a bit of theory, putting it into practice, and then doing a practical session. As you do each of those practical sessions, myself and the team leader, Alex, will be there to observe and provide some feedback around assessments or in assessing you. So in that plan, the full plan that we sent through, we looked at, I'll just move to your assessments there. We looked at, there's no formal assessment as such, like no accredited formal assessment, but
that's good. I don't do assessments very well.
No, you just relax and you know, ask questions. Yeah. So a lot of the methods we'll use is observing you actually doing the task. So you know, we talked about how you learn best by doing. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that will then, you know, we can put into practice. So we'll look at the theory and then we'll go through the practical and put it into place. So, and some questioning as well. So we might ask some questions to make sure that you're clear about the process and what you're doing and why you're doing it. Mm-hmm. So some informal formative assessment techniques. And as I said, there's no formal assessment as such for the program, but we'll be monitoring. Alex and myself will monitor against the objectives that we went through at the start. So yeah, so just those were the areas we're looking at: manager observing, trainer observing, some workplace scenarios as well. So you're actually doing some student enrolments and processes. Any evidence, sometimes if we need a third-party report, Alex or maybe Peter might provide a third-party report for some roles that you've been doing. And then just your monthly feedback at our monthly feedback meetings, which is on our schedule as well. So we'll just do a Microsoft team to go through and have all our stakeholders. So yourself, Alex, Peter, and myself, and you can bring up any issues and have a chat about things then.
Okay.
If you have any concerns, I guess after each of the sessions is you know, you're then going back, you're working in the workplace and putting it into practice. So you'll have a buddy You know, that person may change from time to time, but over that 3 months, Peter will be one of your key contacts, but you may also have a buddy from one of the other areas in the infrastructure, energy and construction team. So, and they might be able to assist you in different areas and processes. When we go to the training room, so just for work health and safety issues is if I'll do a risk assessment of the office prior to us meeting there first time, but once we arrive, if there's any issues that may catch your eye or that you're concerned about, is please report them straight away. But being mindful, you know, computer cords on the ground and leaving your bag in a place that you may trip and so forth. So just to be aware of all those factors when we start. So did you have any questions that you wanted to ask at all?
You kind of mentioned before about like thinking about what I'm going to do after each session, and so like, am I supposed to write like something, or because in my other job I had to write like critical reflections and things every time we did some professional development, and it took a long time. So is that what I have to do here too?
No, so not necessarily. So it's just self-reflecting after each of the topics. You don't have to formally put down any reflections, but bringing along that notebook and writing things down in your own words and things like that is maybe that you might do that self-reflection, and then prior to each session, the following session, you and I will go over and have a chat about any of issues that might have come up, or any topics, or some of your self-reflection topics that you've put down. And also the monthly feedback meetings with Alex and Peter is a good time to have a chat about anything that you might have put down and as your self-reflection.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. There's too much to have on top of my other work, and I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing by my bosses and not trying to play catch up, that's all.
Wonderful. So all right, so that's probably all we were going to go through today, just around that briefing session. So our first session will kick off on the 5th of January, and that'll be in Q2 30. So you know where that office is located, or maybe you could have a quick look upstairs so that you're familiar with the room before we go. But otherwise, I'll meet you there on the day, and Alex and Peter will join us for that first session as well.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Wonderful. All right. You have a good day, and I'll see you on the 5th.
Thanks, Michelle.
Bye.
Bye.